So I think I want to encourage everybody to come from a perspective of understanding where you are going into every situation you possibly can with a view that you're going to try to understand somebody else's viewpoint. And I know it is incredibly hard to do in the day-to-day. But, if you come with the perspective that you're going to try to understand, and, you're going to miss out from quite often in this perspective and understanding, but you try to go into it, then you will have a better idea or better perspective in how to actually deal with things, right? So each situation, you might be thinking about how to get what you actually want. And often the easiest perspective, or the easiest thing, is to come from the side that the other person has. And as you're doing that, you sort of think about what they actually want and what they want to get done. And now here comes the tricky part, is that often people don't act like that, right? So they don't come from a perspective of understanding. You're going to be a rare person to do this. And so they're coming into it in a very aggressive stance. And when they do that, they're going to want to, I'm thinking about a car deal, for example. They're going to want to come into it, being as aggressive as they possibly can and try to take advantage of you. And the problem with that is that, if you come from a perspective of understanding, they very likely will take advantage of you because you're going to be easily trying to come to an agreement with them. And so what you have to do is sort of balance and think about how you're going to come into the situation with understanding, but also know that other people have strategic objectives in mind, that they're going to try to take advantage of you in some sort of way. And the reason why I suggest that it is a far less, in terms of coming from a perspective of understanding, it is a far less confrontational side. It really comes from you wanting to understand somebody else. It comes from empathy. It comes from really trying to figure things out in terms of why would this actually feel like this for the other person. And it takes some of the edge off when you're going into this, any particular situation, right? Any particular negotiation. Because what you'll do is you'll understand that instead of coming into a very aggressive, direct, so it's coming into everything thinking that, how do you understand sort of a second level of every relationship, right? So it's thinking about, there's the first level of what people actually want, but then there is a second level in terms of what they're actually doing. And if you come into it from that particular perspective, you actually end up, I find, and I think sort of evidence bears this out, is that you actually have a better idea or a better sort of superior performance from this particular thing, right? This particular negotiation. Now the challenge is A, often other people don't have that side, so you have to figure out that perspective. And so you have to figure out how to navigate that, like the strategic perspective of things. And then as well, I mean, it's hard to come into every relationship, every negotiation in an understanding way. It's just really hard, right? Like behaviorally, we're not going to want to do that. Where our emotions get really excited about things, and you have to sort of slow it down often. And so whether it's parenting or management or, just thinking about the world, you really have to slow it down and think about how things actually work from a perspective of understanding. So that's kind of where I want to leave this, is, what that's going to do, it's going to take sort of some, not all of it, some of the emotion out of it, right? So you might be attacked, for example, and it hurts, right? Like if you're being attacked. And so then you have to think about, well, why is it that somebody else, so your immediate response is, fight or flight. But then if you can stop and think about the situation from a perspective of understanding, you'll really realize what's actually going on, right? And sort of rise above the situation. You will be much more in control of what's actually going on, simply by thinking about how do we explain what is going on, how do we understand this circumstance. No, it's challenging, but that almost always results in better outcomes, in my perspective. And I think, research, as far as I know, would sort of agree with me. All right, take care, and have a wonderful day.